All right, we're back up, and we were down long enough that this just kicked me out of YouTube side. All right, I don't know what's happening here. If this is some internet issue that's going on my end, or what's going on here, but it's kicking OBS out, and it kicked us out on a new YouTube link. So let's get the new YouTube link out. It's not my computer, because that's not slowing down for a second, and it might be on the OBS side, but yeah, I'm not losing internet. I'm not losing music stream as we go. So let's get a few things put back out here. Yeah, we dropped everything. I've been watching the monitors, and it's insanity, I tell you. All right, let's go down and finish this, because yeah, apparently now we're going to start having stream problems. All right, we're back to it, hopefully. Yeah, YouTube started a completely new stream. All right, so update on what just happened here. I've had 2 instances now where I got the message that said stream disconnected, attempting to reconnect, which occasionally I get an internet bubble around here and it buffers for a second, but it's not enough to come back and disconnect the stream. And this time it was disconnected for so long it actually killed the YouTube stream. So we're back up and running. New YouTube link for the rest of the program here, but yeah, we're having some issues here apparently, which is lame. Well, we're back up to 9 viewers already, so. All right, now that we're back up and running, let's go listen to the House Plant in Chief.
Two summers ago, in the middle of the pandemic, we saw protests across the nation, the likes of which you hadn't seen since the 1960s. They unified people of every race and generation. 2 summers ago, in the middle of the pandemic.
Yep, let's already forget about what happened in Texas, and let's go talk about how bad law enforcement is again, which I think we kind of know at this point. But Barack Obama also got into this, and he had to come out and tell us which brown kids are in their situation with this. Barack Obama tweets out, as we grieve the children of Uvalde today, we should take the time to recognize that 2 years have passed since the murder of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer. His killing stays with us all to this day, especially those who loved him. In the aftermath of this murder, a new generation of activists rose up, paid by me, to channel their anguish into organized action, launching a movement to raise awareness of systemic racism and the need for criminal justice and police reform. Inspired by these young leaders, MBK Alliance launched a reimagining policing pledge for mayors and cities, ready to take action. If you're wondering how you can make things a little better today, here's some ways to get involved. There you go, Obama.org. Go in, because Trayvon Martin could have been my son. Forget about these kids in the school. Trayvon Martin, look at him. He could have been mine. He might be. I don't know. But that's one of them. These brown kids, it's a tragedy about these brown kids, but they weren't the right kind of brown kids, okay? So, make sure that you're out there, grieving, in Uvalde. Take the time to recognize that George Floyd, he really is the one that's going to change the world. None of the rest of what you're going to do, it's going to be good enough. All right. Another reason for me not to give up my armaments here. Man clings to life after being slashed in the neck during a New York City brawl. According to cops from the New York Post, Tina Moore and Amanda Woods. A 33-year-old man is clinging to life after he was slashed during a Midtown brawl early Wednesday, cops said. The victim was fighting with a group of people on West 36th near 7th Avenue around 12:30 a.m. when one person suddenly attacked him, slashing him in the neck, police said. He was rushed to Bellevue in critical condition, cops said. A 51-year-old man who was stabbed in the stomach during the fight went to the same hospital by private means in stable conditions, police said. No arrests have been made. Yeah, you don't see shit like that around here. And if you do, typically the assailant winds up deceased. From the Blaze. Chicago man points gun at news crew in broad daylight during live shot about rising crime. You can't make this up. Police are searching for a man that pointed a gun at a news crew during their live shot from the streets of Chicago about a rise in crime. Joni Loom of WFLD-TV was reporting on the corner of Clark and Hubbard around 7 a.m. when a man pointed what appeared to be a gun at the camera from behind her back. The video shows him dancing away and waving the gun at some other object. Jeez. Tell me we have this. We do.
With a frightening situation that unfolded this morning while our colleagues were live on the air. Chicago police have issued a community alert about the incident. They are trying to track down the man in these photos. Around 7 o'clock this morning at the corner of Clark and Hubbard, while our reporter was in the middle of a live report about gun violence in Chicago, a man walked up and pointed what appeared to be a firearm at our crew. Right now, police are calling this man a person of interest, accused of aggravated assault with a firearm. If you have any information regarding who he...
They're calling him a person of interest. I'm calling him a person of retardedness. You come out there holding a gun, which it takes an act of God to get in Chicago, with your face clearly on camera. How stupid can you be? And that is not, of course, going into the irony of us having a conversation about gun violence in Chicago on the news while a moron like this comes in and points a gun at a camera. I mean, come on! Wow. Dumb fuck. From the Daily Wire. Another reason that I'm not willing to give up my ability to defend myself. Pro-life leaders prepare for threatened summer of rage. From Mary Margaret Olahan. Dial that back just a little bit. Pro-life activists are eagerly anticipating a long-awaited Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade, but a dark cloud looms over their hopeful victory, a summer of rage and protesting promised by pro-abortion activists. Panicked and angry abortion supporters announced the summer of rage following the leak of a draft opinion indicating that justices are preparing to overturn Roe v. Wade. These abortion advocates kicked off protests with a Bans Off Our Bodies demonstration largely held by the Women's March on May 14th. Abortion groups nationally have called for large-scale backlash to the momentous news, including protesting at the homes of Supreme Court justices and even in Catholic masses. Around the country, pro-life clinics and centers have reported vandalism, threats, and violence, and a May 13th Department of Homeland Security memo revealed that the government officials are investigating threats to the justices, the clerks, to the places of worship, and to abortion clinics. But pro-life leaders who spoke to the Daily Wire will express confidence in their ability to continue to serve mothers and babies and promise to conduct themselves with dignity in the face of anger or vitriol. We will not be intimidated or silenced to stop working for the day when both moms and babies are given full dignity, protection, and support, said Jeannie Mancini, who heads the massive March for Life annually in Washington, D.C. on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Well, they're going to start burning shit down. They're not going to come to this town, thankfully. But, again, they can leave me the fuck out of it. Elon Musk got into the news. Elon Musk considers the right of gun ownership an important safeguard against potential tyranny of government, but says he favors restricting assault weapon sales to individuals in special situations. From Alex Nitzberg. Keep in mind, this is not your friend. As much as they want it to be your friend, this is not your friend. Billionaire business magnate Elon Musk told CNBC via emails on Wednesday that he's in favor of tight background checks for all firearm sales and that he supports restricting assault weapons. Sorry, I lost my place there. He supports restricting assault weapon sales to individuals in special situations such as gun range proprietors or individuals residing in high-risk locations, such as area with prolific gang warfare. No! Musk also noted that he thinks the right to bear arms serves a critical check against the possibility of tyrannical governments. Well, then stop trying to restrict it. Regarding recent events, the shooters are obviously doing this to generate the most amount of attention possible. Why is the media doing exactly what the mass murderers want? Musk wrote, according to the outlet. I strongly believe that the right to bear arms is an important safeguard against the potential tyranny of government. Historically, maintaining the power over the people is why those in power do not allow public ownership of guns, Musk noted. Musk, who plans to purchase Twitter and transform it into a platform that upholds the principle of free speech, said last week that he plans to vote Republican. You're kind of giving me mixed signals here. Let's make it harder for people to defend themselves, but the ability of people to defend themselves is fundamental to take on a tyrannical government. AOC biscuit. Alexandria Ocasio-Chavez says Lauren Boebert should quit instead of acting like a useless piece of furniture when babies are shot with AR-15s. Sorry, Seabiscuit, but you're not really in the place to care about babies being murdered. From Omar Sadiq. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Chavez, D-Twitch, on Wednesday ripped into Representative Lauren Boebert over her anti-gun regulation stance following a mass shooting in Texas that left at least 19 children and 2 adults dead. The mass killing on Tuesday reignited conversations among Democrats on Capitol Hill about gun reform legislation, whereas Republicans largely appeared skeptical about taking federal policy actions to combat gun violence. You cannot legislate away evil, Boebert, a Colorado Republican, wrote on Twitter on Tuesday morning. Chavez seized on Boebert's comments, tweeting, "Why even be in Congress, Poppy, if you don't believe in doing your job, okay?" Just quit and let someone who actually gives a damn do it instead of acting like a useless piece of furniture, okay, puppy? When babies are shot with AR-15s that we let teen boys impulse buy before they can legally have a beer. The New York Democrat added, referring to state laws that allow 18-year-olds to buy assault rifles. Chavez has previously criticized Boebert for posting a photo of herself and her young children posing while holding assault rifles. Boebert replied to her Democrat colleague's criticism later on Wednesday, tweeting, "Misdefund the police. Gun-free zones have proven to be deadly. Let me know when you're ready to do your job and effectively protect our schools with armed security. Let's meet and solve this." So, that's what they have to say about that. But she's not done. AOC goes scorched earth on Dem leadership after far-left candidate fails to defeat incumbent. From Chris Enlow. Chavez took aim at her party's leadership after progressive attorney Jessica Cisneros failed to defeat Henry Queller in a runoff election. Just 175 votes separate Cisneros and Queller after Tuesday's runoff election, leading to Queller to declare victory. However, Cisneros may still close the gap with mail-in ballots that still need to be counted, which means they're stuffing envelopes right now as they speak. She has not conceded and could request a recount given the tight election result. The race has not officially been called. Chavez blasted Democrat Party leaders for continuing to support Queller. Progressive Democrats have worked tirelessly to put Cisneros in a position to defeat Queller, but it looks like it may not have been enough. On the day of mass shooting and weeks after news of Roe, Papi, Democratic Party's leadership rallied for pro-NRA anti-choice incumbent under investigation in close primary, okay, Papi? Robocalls, fundraisers, all of it. Accountability isn't partisan. This is utter failure of leadership, okay, I say? Ocasio-Chavez said. Queller has served in Congress since 2005 and is one of the last remaining true moderate Democrats. Queller is anti-abortion, has repeatedly called out President Biden over the border crisis, and for most of his career has enjoyed an A rating from the NRA. In her Twitter tirade, Ocasio-Chavez added that Congress should not be an incumbent protection racket, okay, puppy? And declared that those who failed their communities deserve to lose. However, she did not specify how exactly Queller has failed his community. By being pro-gun in Texas, one would think that Queller has done the opposite if he's managed to be re-elected so many times. No. We had Paul Ryan here. A little bit more on this one from the Daily Mail. Chavez calls Democrat Rep. Henry Queller pro-NRA after he declared victory in his Texas primary against her endorsed candidate, Jessica Cisneros, even though it's still too close to call. So she's got the leadership that she's going after, and she's got Queller that she's going after. Even though she still votes in lockstep with whatever the leadership tells her to. From the Hill, an op-ed from the Hill. The opinions expressed in this opinion piece are the views of Joe Concha, opinion contributor, and not necessarily the views of the Hill, Contemporary, or Transpage Productions. Georgia voting explosion marks the beginning of the end for Stacey Abrams. Jim Crow 2.0 is about two insidious things, voter suppression and election subversion. It's no longer about who gets the vote. It's about making it harder to vote. It's about who gets to count the vote and whether your vote counts at all. It's not hyperbole. This is fact. This was President Biden in January during a speech in Georgia, pushing the Democrats' quest to federalize voting rights. Biden has played the Jim Crow 2.0 card multiple times during his presidential campaign, and while in office, his vice president, Kamala Harris, was tapped to lead the admin's voting rights efforts after doing such a fine job fixing the border crisis. I don't want America where the future of my kids to be in America where we are suppressing. You don't have kids. I'm suppressing the rights of the American people to vote. Harris declared, echoing her boss. You don't have kids. You've got a weird stepdaughter that looks like a boy. And then there's two-time gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, who alleged that Georgia law purposely was put in to suppress minority turnout. There are components that are indeed racist because they use racial animus as a means of targeting the behaviors of certain voters to eliminate the participants and limit their participation in elections, Abrams said in Senate hearings after the law passed in 2021. Fortunately for those who embrace sanity, Manchin and Sinema opposed blowing up the filibuster, thereby making it impossible for the voting bill to achieve the necessary 60-vote threshold. On cue, The usual suspects in the media accuse Manchin and Sinema of destroying democracy because without the bill passing, voting would become as hard to do in this country as buying baby formula. Georgia's become the front lines of the voting debate. Last year, Republican leaders made some changes to existing laws to restore public confidence in the system. Democrats, followed by major corporations in the Peach State, including Coke, Delta, cried foul while making laughable claims that the voting law changes would make voting noticeably harder in the state. MLB even moved its annual All-Star game out of Atlanta last summer. But a funny thing happened this month in Georgia. Early voting records were set. Many more people voted in the primary than ever before. In 3 weeks of early voting, more than 850,000 votes were cast, marking a 212% jump over the 2020 presidential primaries and a 168% jump over the 2018 gubernatorial primaries in Georgia, according to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger last Friday. But how can this be? The president once declared that if you're on the side of keeping voting laws in the hands of individual states, as they've always been, you're the 21st century version of the Bull Connor and Jefferson Davis, who are both Democrats, by the way. Yes, voting has become so hard that they have tripled their voting in primaries. Over tripled. So that's what we see coming back up out of that. From Fox News, Senator Ernst rips Stacey Abrams' big lie on voter suppression. From Fox News staff. Joni Ernst of Iowa ripped Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams Wednesday on the Faulkner Focus, calling out the big lie about voter suppression and arguing the Democrat candidate has it all wrong on voter turnout in the Peach State. Ernst says Stacey Abrams has this all wrong. When you're saying there's voter suppression and yet we see increases year over year of voter turnout, she is promoting the big lie that out there that we're trying to suppress votes all across the U.S. by making sure that our elections are secure. We have seen this even in Iowa, where we've strengthened voter security laws, and you know what? Voter turnout continues to go up, so Stacey Abrams is trying to promote a fallacy out there. She's lying to voters across the state of Georgia, and there's nothing to see here on trying to make sure elections are secure, and I do hope that we have strong voter turnout out there. I think it's really important people participate in the elections process, but again, she's trying to promote something that's simply not happening. Amen. But it's voter suppression because these people can't go out and vote county to county and 7 times in a day. From ABC News, after Perdue tells Abrams to go back where she came from, she says Republicans just deflect. From Adam Carlson. What are we looking at for time? We're going to have to go soon, I know that. We're probably not going to get to the Kissinger stuff again. Is there anything specific I want to get to before we head out of here? Other than thing I like and thing that I hate. I think we just keep going down the line. Nope, I want to do that one. Stacey Abrams, a black Democrat running for Georgia governor, declined on Tuesday to directly comment on Republican David Perdue, saying she should go back to where she came from. No, not at all, Abrams said at a news conference in Atlanta when asked by ABC News whether she wanted to respond to what was widely labeled as racist remarks from Perdue on Monday night, while giving a campaign speech in which he also charged that she was demeaning her own race. I will say this, Abrams told ABC News on Tuesday's press conference. I have listened to Republicans for the last 6 months attack me, but they have done nothing to attack the challenges facing Georgia. They've done nothing to articulate their plans for the future of Georgia. I think their plans are to keep you out of the governorship. Their response to a comment on their record is to deflect and pretend that they've done good for the people of Georgia. I don't know. I was there last year and it's pretty fucking based, so. Perdue, running to get the GOP nomination for Georgia governor, seized on Abrams' comments last week that Georgia was the worst state in the country to live, citing residents' disparities in mental health and maternal mortality, among other issues. She ain't from here. Let her go back to where she came from, Perdue, a former senator challenging Kemp for the party's nomination, said at a campaign event in the Atlanta suburbs on Monday night. She doesn't like it here. Abrams grew up in Mississippi but has deep ties to Georgia, the state she moved to during high school when she previously served as the House Minority Leader. She said last week that when you're number 48 for mental health, when you're number 1 for maternal mortality, when you have an incarceration rate that's on the rise and wages that are on decline, then you're not the number 1 place to live. So, well, maybe she should go back and try to revamp and revitalize Mississippi instead. I'm sure that they would love to hear from her in Mississippi. But it seems that the majority of people in Georgia are pretty happy with what they have going on there. All right. I want to do this one. We'll do this one, then we'll do a thing that I like and thing that I hate and head out of here for the day. Oh, I caught Arvold's attention. Walmart recalls ice cream commemorating Juneteenth after receiving a heavy backlash, a report says. From Ruba Jamal. Walmart is removing from shelves an ice cream product that commemorated Juneteenth, a U.S. holiday that marks the freedom of enslaved African Americans, according to reports. Social media was abuzz with comments from users who were angered by the product, which featured a swirl of red velvet and cheesecake flavors. Many criticized the company for appearing to capitalize on the holiday in its history. Dude, they do that every year. The black square, the blacked out logo, the rainbow logo in June. They do this every year. Juneteenth holiday marks a celebration of freedom and independence, Walmart said in a statement to Fox television stations. However, we received feedback that a few items caused concern for some of our customers, and we sincerely apologize. We are reviewing our assortment and will remove items as appropriate. Walmart did not immediately respond to insiders' requests for comments made outside the normal working hours. Last year, President Biden enacted a law to make Juneteenth, which takes place on June 19th, a federal holiday. The holiday has been celebrated since the late 1800s and recognized in the majority of the United States. No, it has not. If you didn't live in Texas or Oklahoma, you had no idea what Juneteenth was until last year. I know, I had to ask. And I don't live in those states. Now, mind you, I'm not opposed to celebrating this because I like freedom. But to come back out here and try to LARP and roleplay that this is something that's been widely celebrated across the U.S. since 1880, whatever the fuck it was. No, you are lying to yourself. With the exception of a few historians, nobody north of the Mason-Dixon line even knew what Juneteenth was until last year. Until President Brandon started talking about it. And yes, now Walmart is trying to capitalize on it. Because we've got a new holiday. Social media images show that Walmart's label on the ice cream read, "Share and celebrate African American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope." Comedian Roy Wood Jr. was among those who ridiculed the ice cream. "Would you like some Juneteenth ice cream on a Juneteenth plate as you sip your beer in a Juneteenth koozie?" he tweeted. I mean, we do it for every other holiday. I don't think this is as big of a deal as they try to make it out to be. And yes, every other capitalistic venture is going to try to capitalize on this. It's just, for whatever reason, a problem for Walmart to do it. But again, when you're on social media, every Instagram tile, every Twitter profile, it's going to have Juneteenth in it somewhere. They're going to work it into their company logos. It's going to be on every business profile when it comes to the end of the month of June. Blizzard celebrates Juneteenth. Microsoft is Juneteenth strong. Twitter, we originated Juneteenth. Everybody's going to be running up to capitalize this in a few weeks. But for whatever reason, it's only a problem when Walmart does it. So, there is that. Alright, let's head out of here for the day. But before we do, you know what? Before we do, let's look at some Libs of TikTok. Because I have no idea what's going on here. I haven't watched this. I have not pre-watched this video. Libs of TikTok tweets out, "What is happening?" Well, what is happening?
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm in a polyamorous relationship. Normally, when people think polyamory, they think two women and a man in a throuple type relationship together. But that's not what polyamory is. I mean, that's one type of polyamory, but polyamory is an umbrella term for many different types of non-monogamous relationships. I call my type of relationship a polycule or a constellation, because it looks like a molecule or a constellation. There are several people involved in various different ways, and more people have joined than the last time I did one of these. So let's give a little update. I'm sure you can follow along just fine. Okay, so in the center of it all is obviously me. Here's me, in case you forgot. I run this account. I have bright orange hair. I am married to Jake. There's Jake, super cute. We currently live together. I am also dating Spencer. Here's Spencer. We've been together for a while, but are not currently living together. I am also dating Ellie. She's my newest relationship, but just as important as all the others. Now, Ellie is platonic life partners with Izzy. Here's Izzy, and that just means they plan on spending the rest of their lives together without any romance or sex involved. Now, Izzy is also casually seeing Spencer. Here's Spencer again, just in case you forgot. Remember, Spencer is dating me, and I am married to Jake. Now, Jake is currently dating Rocket. This is Rocket. They are very hot and very tall. Rocket also has another long-term relationship with his girlfriend, also has a queer platonic relationship with another partner. These partners don't wish to be included, which is perfectly fine, but that means y'all are not going to push to see them. Now remember, I am only dating Ellie and Spencer, and I'm married to Jake. Those are the only three people I'm involved with. This person, and Izzy could all have other partners. But seeing as they're not involved in my inner polycule, I don't know, and that's okay. Anyways, this is why we call it a polycule or a constellation.
Well, they all look like how I would have predicted. I could say that off of there. But I mean, poly, it's easier to say you're a whore. And I understand that I'm in no position to be making that judgment. Trust me. Wow. Well, I'm glad we decided to do that today. I needed that today. The size of those eyes. Tell me you're a lizard overlord in disguise without telling me you're a lizard overlord in disguise. Oh, well, let's look. I didn't look at that part.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm in a polyamorous relationship.
Do you think she can get her tongue up to those eyes? I can't. I'm not a lizard person. All right, let's do a thing that I like and thing that I hate, and head out of here for the day. All right, thing that I like today. Now, a few of you guys know, well, most of you know that I like to have basic print t-shirts, and I prefer to have ones that look somewhat retro, even though they're taking on new topics or so. You probably see, and I actually chose to wear this one specifically today because I got it from the company. So this is my Wasteland t-shirt, where everyone's special because it's a Fallout t-shirt. They're making a play on the special stats that you go through: strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. But, you know, they're talking about the Wasteland and the print off of that. But you've seen, also, I've got my Nuka-Cola t-shirt that I believe I wore yesterday or day before. I don't remember. I've got the Save the Clock Tower Hill Valley t-shirt. That is garnering a lot of attention around this area, by the way, because people think that there's an actual charity for it. But I got the Ghostbusters ones. I've been shopping, and I've been seeing advertisements for a while. I just hadn't chosen to shop there. until just recently when I started to see, I saw the new Coca-Cola t-shirt and the Fallout t-shirt I'm currently wearing off of there. And that is at Once Upon a Tea. Now, this is a website where they do, basically, you can only get the design once. There are some designs that they do keep on, and they'll bring back over. But for most part, any design that you see out in the front of here, you can only ever get once. I think they do rotate them. I think they'll come back eventually, but like they say, these designs are gone forever in 4 days and 3 hours. They reset at midnight on Monday. And then everything on the front page here will be new designs. And they go through various different kinds of nerd fandoms. Now, I'm not really interested in a lot of what they do here because it's a lot of horror this month. They've got the Freddy's Fitness, Jason's Fitness, Myers Fitness, and Ghostface's Fitness for the horror movies. I never was into horror movies. Plus, they've got the zombies for the different fandoms. Cap 41, Teenage Mutant Ninja Zombies, Legend of Zombie, and the Skywalking Dead. And Hocus Pocus stuff, and looks like some Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. And possibly it looks like some Disney Princess stuff as well, or Disney Villain stuff, I should say. So, that is what they have going off of there. They are reasonably priced. It is $14 per t-shirt if you get them within the time that they're offered. The only downside to Once Upon a Tea is that because of supply chain disruptions, as they say, it usually takes about 2 weeks to get anything shipped out. By the time it's shipped, you get it pretty quickly. If I order any day through there, I get it on Thursday of the following cycle, which the cycle is 2 weeks out. So 2 weeks and then on a Thursday consistently. They're good quality t-shirts. I mean, it's not an uncomfortable t-shirt. It's not a stiff. It's not a cheap fabric. I can't recommend these guys enough. Even if you just want to get like a regular t-shirt or something off of their designs or something like that. I cannot recommend them enough. OnceUponATea.net. And I mean, you can go through, you can go back and look at some of the old designs that they've had through there. The kids' designs are pretty good. I actually just got one for Tiny Rick. I like that one. I've never seen Rick and Morty, and I like that one. But if you get the old designs, you do have to pay a little bit more. $21.99, $22.99, etc. I Survived the Coming of Gozer. I've not seen that one. I like that. But yeah, you've got Loki, My Narcissistic Romance, Space Cowboy. That might show up in my rotation somewhere in the near future. I like that one. I like that one a lot, actually. We might be doing that one. Cute as hell. I like that one. But yeah, they've got good designs. It's a good company. They use good quality products. I believe they're printed and made in the USA too. I guess I've never taken the time to look at the tag. But for $14 to get a good design like this, and then see new designs every week. The Boys versus the Seven. Scott Pilgrim one. Which I kind of want to sit down and read the Scott Pilgrim ones too. The Hans, you saw that one. I have that one already. So yeah, if you're looking for a good t-shirt, a good quality shirt, and something that you can celebrate your fandom in, check them out every week and see if there's something that tickles your fancy. It's a pretty good company. I kind of like what they do. Based right out of, I believe, Tucson as well. So that's what we see off of that. And now for a thing that I hate. From the Blaze. And what I could only see as the most bizarre headline I have seen in a very, very long time. From the Blaze, transgender man convicted of assault for having sex with woman who did not know he was using a prosthetic device. from Carlos Garcia. A transgender man was convicted of assault by penetration for having sexual relationships with 3 women who did not know he was using a prosthetic device. Tarjit Singh, who was born female and named Hannah Walters, was convicted over 3 relationships he had with women from June 2010 until March of 2016. These victims have been deceived, betrayed, and lied to in the most disturbing and traumatic of ways. One of the victims, who was just 16 years old when she met the defendant, said Melissa Garner of the Crown Prosecution Services in the UK. Wood chipper time. One of Singh's victims said that she wasn't aware that he had female genitalia until months into their relationship when she found his strap-on prosthetic penis. The victim said that Singh had used clothing during sex in the dark to conceal the prosthetic. He looked like a guy, he acted like a guy, said one victim about their sexual interactions. He's accused of lashing out at his victims and being manipulative and abusive when they began to ask questions. Singh was caught after one of his victims called the police when he became abusive. They discovered the 2 other victims in the course of their investigation. He claimed during the trial that the victims knew of his gender status. Singh has never admitted to the crimes, and he has continued to claim that these victims were aware of his gender. Continued Gardner, the victims in this case have shown immense courage for coming out to the court and giving evidence. He was convicted of 3 counts of assault by penetration and 6 counts of assault occasioning actual body harm. He was convicted of making a threat after the trial. What? What is wrong with this planet? Okay. This is where we're at. You're accused of rape for using a dildo. You know, this actually reminds me of a joke that I heard a while ago. It's an old joke. I really, really hope that my mom is not listening with my niece nearby, because I don't need this to get repeated back to my brother-in-law. Earmuffs. So, a husband and wife have been together for a while. And the wife made the discovery that there was never really that big of a loving relationship, and for the entirety of the marriage, the husband had been using a dildo to have sex with his wife. And she discovers this. And she confronted him straight out, and she says, "I can't believe you would do this. Tell me, what is wrong with our relationship? How bad does it have to be that you have to use a dildo every time we have sex?" And he looks back at her and says, "Explain the kids, bitch." I don't have sounders. I can't do a rim shot for that. All right. That's all that I have for the day. This has been a bizarre show, you guys. Plus, I got that little tuft of hair up in the front that's just kind of sticking up. This hair needs to grow so I can donate it. Get back to an acceptable length again. All right, let's get out of here. All right, so thanks everybody who came by and chatted in the live chat, everybody that came and hung out with us. It's been a great time. It's been an awesome time of seeing everybody here. Sorry about the drop in connection. I have no idea what happened, but you know me, I'm going to be investigating and figuring that shit out, because I'm going to see if they've been doing construction on the fiber optics around here somewhere, if they've done something like that. It's really weird because, like I say, it didn't knock the music out. It didn't knock any of that live stream coming back out through my ears, but we'll figure out what happened. Thanks everybody who came back and joined us. 10 viewers today. Let's see if we can't get to 20 for tomorrow, because tomorrow is live chat day. That's right. We will be sitting down here tomorrow and thanking everybody who chatted in the live chat throughout the week and reading some of your live chat throughout the day as well, as we close out the show tomorrow. So definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing everybody here tomorrow as we talk about the stupid stuff that happens in the news today and this block of stupid stuff that happened in the news over the week that we have not been able to get back to yet today. We will see you all here tomorrow, bright and early, for more contemporary. Definitely looking forward to that, and we will see what happens, what kind of stupid stuff they can pull up with as we go into a holiday weekend, and we will see you then. And until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Take care.